presentation you did of the audition, and I don't have the audition sheets with me, and I don't remember what the last name is of the other woman who read for Harriet. Her name is Jane.
The one with the real interesting
the short
face.
One with the, yeah, I really considered her for a long time.
She would have been an interesting candidate.
Jane, it was a Kathy.
No, Kathy is going to be our hairdresser, Kathy Ivani. If I'm frank, you're going to edit some of these things out.
Oh yes,
anybody.
Most definitely. Yeah.
I know you've been very good. I know you didn't post the death scene, so.
Oh no. I mean, yeah, I did forget.
I was given this assignment by Jeffrey Tambor at Wayne State University when I was 19 years old. He had everyone watching everyone. And so the next person had the prior person's experience to either say, I'm not going to do that, or do something else. And I was last. And what I did was, rather than I pulled out a knife like I was going to take my own life, and I decided right there at that moment that I'd rather kill someone else. And so I attacked Jeffrey Tambor in his chair. It was wonderful. Thank you for confronting your inhibitions and doing this. It's amazing how many similarities there were.
Well, Mr. Simpson came out and the horn started honking, and he said straight away, there goes little old Hadley Richardson with her war hero. Well, I quickly asked, what's his name? And then he said, clear as day, Ernie Hemingway.
I like the fact that you're not withdrawn, but that you're not boastful, you're not big. Well, you're big.
Do you remember what he said when Morgan first brought you home? Now there's a dandy. Just like that, he says. Now there's a dandy.
Almost everything. Do you read much, Richard?
Not enough, sir.
My parents put a book in front of me, in front of my face at a very early age.
Our boys are bombing the Japanese homeland islands, and we're one step closer to ending this horrible war. We should be getting news from Morgan, don't you think?
I'll keep it right here next to my heart. I promise you, whatever happens, it'll find its way home to you. You've got my word on it.
So, what we will do is we'll sit down and decide, and we will post the cast list. It will be on the bulletin board somewhere by noon tomorrow. It also gets posted on the Playhouse website.
Couldn't have done it without Jan being opposite her. And Jan was the last person I called because I thought he was the surest lock. I've acted for Jan a couple of times now in his Air plays, and I had no doubt at all that he would leap at that chance. Going, hi. Okay. I have a question for you.
Good.
This is Mariam and Harriet talking about Sebastian coming over with this guy to fix the roof.
About what now?
Talking about Richard coming over to fix the roof.
Right.
Harriet, good, and we have a surprise. Pastor Dupree's bringing a guest. Who? Well, not just any old guest, but a young man who has a strong back and is willing to do chores around the cottage. Who is he? Don't know. Sebastian mentioned something about his being a war veteran looking to work, and that's good enough for me. We've got plenty of that for him. Apparently he knows our Morgan, and I can't wait to hear what he has to say. Well, we better get started. Apparently he knows our Morgan, and I can't wait to hear what he has to say. Well, Richard himself admits to Sebastian when he first comes there, do you know of Mrs. Jablonski? Because he's got the picture. So he introduces himself to Sebastian and obviously tells Sebastian some very basic stuff. But my question about the construction of the line is, what's Harriet's priority? I mean, if she's got word about her son, it's going to be, who cares whether he's going to fix the roof? I want to know about Morgan. And so I would suggest that you reconstruct that line so it's built around the excitement about somebody who knows what's going on with Morgan. And then the rest of it
Go ahead.
coming after.
Can you?
You know, plays like this bring feelings like that out of everyone.
Right.
Everyone has people in their lives. When you portray someone in a real manner, it brings up
Right.
your life.
Well, the way my grandmother, Mert, and my Auntie Susie were, they were ball busters, but they were so contradictory because they talked about their men, the men in their life, with such glowing, accounts and whatnot. But they were hateful. They were
To their husbands or to everyone else?
to everyone else. But they cherished the memories of the man that no longer was there.
I think the hook for this show, apart from the fact that your writing conjures up these images in people about their lives, is that pretty much everybody from World War II is dead now.
Pretty soon.
It's a historical phenomenon. There are not many left. They're all in their max 80s and 90s. The thing that you did about your dad and your grandfather,
Right.
I mean, that really struck a chord with me. You know, I'm not of this generation that you see sitting at these tables anymore, but these are people who are still interested in their family history. And you know, this World War II period, especially in this area, was such, if war could be called honorable, you know, these are people who went and did an honorable thing.
What was the last honorable war, in my opinion?
Yeah, Korea was a totally different ball of wax.
Took it home and I'm editing it, and it took me about 10 minutes to realize that you could see a reflection of me at the camera in the window behind the piano.
Of course.
Yeah.
I am really interested in knowing what was your very first introduction to Mariam's Pardon?
Well, of course, my first introduction was via Bonnie D, who's my roommate here and my partner. And she had the script, and she was going to direct it. And so I didn't react because I hadn't even seen the script. And then she said, I've got this other script, Dog Sees God. And I said, well, can I read one? She said, well, sure. Why don't you start with Mariam's Pardon? So I read Mariam's Pardon. Wow. I came back to her and I said, would it destroy our friendship if I told you that I would like to direct this play and that I'm going to put an application in with the board, the artistic committee? And besides, you have another play that you'd like to direct. And that was all said very humorously. And she had no problem with my applying. And then she said, well, can I audition for it? Mariam's Pardon. And I said, of course, anyone can audition. And so that was the beginning. I was just struck by the simplicity of both the message and the writing. That's both. There are other things. You have a knack for dialogue between women. And, you know, I talked to you about that.
Mm-hmm.
Where did you get that? And you talked about members of your family that you spent time with.
Mm-hmm.
So the play struck me in a very warm place. It's really not a tragedy, although there's tragic things that happen within it. But it ends with resolution, which tragedies don't always. And the resolution is a ring of hope. Powerful piece you've written, Wayne. I don't know how you did it.
Well, that's one of those surreal moments. Well, Michael, I'll be coming next week to take a peek.
Good.
And I can't wait to see what these actors are doing. I think it's going to be absolutely fantastic.
Well, Lockerbie has its closing night tonight, as we speak. Strike is tomorrow morning. It'll be right down to the platforms, and I'm bringing the cast in on Monday, everyone just to sit in the space, because that's always a wonderful thing when you get your stage, you're not rehearsing in some other space. And we're going to start working on the groups, the meals, rather than the French scenes of just the pairs. So the pairs have all done their thing. We're moving on to larger groupings now. And that should be done. We'll be able to start run-throughs probably in another 2 weeks.
Fantastic. Until our next conversation.
All right, Wayne. Thank you very much.
I have high expectations because I cast a very, very capable set of actors in this play.
Is there any favorite scenes that you feel that the actors feel more comfortable with? And if there is, which are they?
There's tons of them, and I mean, it's just the two of us sitting here, and you've written this play, and I don't at all mind revealing them to you. And I suppose in retrospect, it's all right if this gets out, but this play is packed with actors' scenes. And these are scenes that you could take them right out of the context of the play and run them in front of the class, because they have all of the earmarks of what good acting requires. And so my favorite scene right now in the whole play is the scene at the train station. It's a goodbye scene, and it is a tearjerker. What does it take to make a tearjerker? I mean, does it take good writing? Does it take the right story? It's probably a combination of those things. And Michelle Dungeon and Jan Dalton, who kind of spearhead that scene. I've seen this in rehearsal now probably, well, several dozen times, and I get choked up every time. Every time. So the dinner scene that spans the two acts is also a wonderful scene. It's for the most part very lighthearted. It turns sour at the end, but there's a solid 15-20 minutes of raucous good time at the table. And given that we're right around a season where people will be sitting around tables, I think that a lot of people will kind of get sparks of memories of things that are happening in their families around the table.
Rogue, cad.
Yeah. And so as he's been taking these risks, and of course, Michelle, she's been kind of waiting for this, because what she does is she responds to that. As Mariam, she can't be the aggressor. She has to respond to him. And everything that he summons from himself that's very uncomfortable to give to her, she just takes it up a notch. And so the scenes between them are just loaded with erotic tension. All my actors are thinking. And I'm a director who, I love to steal other people's ideas. And so I'm always open to, what are you thinking? What do you think you're going to do here? And so we've got a moment, of course, as you know, Mariam in the final scene has to pull the gun out. And so there's a moment in which the audience is not going to know whether someone is going to be killed right on stage.
By the way that she's portraying it.
And it's not at the moment that you think. I mean, you would think under the fear of a stranger being in your kitchen in the middle of the night, that would be the most dangerous moment. No. Because she determines it's Richard right away, as you know. And then Richard begins to, his cover is blown when the photograph falls out.
So you have basically a rehearsal on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, and then just a few people on Wednesday, and then you're going into Tech Sunday, the following Sunday, and then it's about 3 dress rehearsals, and it's showtime.
Yeah, I think that on Tech Week we will do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I want it to be dark on Thursday. I want them to have a night's rest.
A day off before.
You bet.
Right.
You bet. No, this next 2 weeks is just going to zoom right by. I'm coming through the period of what I call the doldrums. The doldrums are just that period where I've heard all the good lines, I've seen all the good stuff. We're just repeating because we're trying to memorize and get it down. So right now is just the discipline part of it. And what we're getting to as we come to Tech Sunday is crunch time. I believe what I first read on the page, and I believe everything that's come off the page. I've had a lot of experience here. I've had 30 years of experience here, and so it's not just me being hopeful. This is based on my experience that we have a strong vehicle that when you came in, you saw just what we've created here, and what they do in real time with their bodies, their tools on stage is just going to be a complement to everything else here. And I'm not even going to try to predict what that's going to be. I'm just going to let it happen, but I know it's going to be good.
You're the assistant director, and through the whole process, I really haven't heard much from you, but I've always been very interested on what your perspective is from the very beginning all the way up to. So, what has the experience of Mariam Pardon been like for you so far?
Well, gosh, it's been a great experience. I really was very pleased that Mike asked me in July to assistant direct for him. Really wanting to work under Mike, and then as I read the play, I thought what a great opportunity to work with a local playwright and work on a play that takes place in northern Michigan, even though it's in the 1940s. And it's been a fantastic experience to see us start from ground zero and come to where we are today at our Sunday Tech rehearsal. And I just can't wait till we open next week, because I know it's going to be absolutely fantastic. We have such a great cast, and it's been really wonderful to see how much they have grown, how much they have taken in through Mike's direction. And I've been, just a good support for Mike. A good support for Mike. A backup, and I've been able to talk with him about what I see and what I think needs to change or grow or develop. And so I have been kind of sitting back and obviously letting him take the lead, and just sort of whispering to him, well, I see this and I see that, and so on and so forth. Which has been great too, because he's very much open to that and has listened to my view and my interpretation of what we've seen. And I just love taking it from the beginning to the end to see how much it grows and becomes a living thing. And I'm just thrilled that we're at this spot, and I just can't wait for everyone to come see it. I think it's going to be a big hit. I really do.
After the preview that you had last night, how do you feel from how things went with the preview going into opening night?
I feel very good. The people who I'm really counting on are coming through in spades. It's an ensemble cast, but some roles are heavier than others, and I'm very satisfied that everyone is acquitting themselves in a positive way. I've got different expectations for different people in the cast, and those haven't always been met, and I'm not going to name names, which is one of your lines. Nor am I a psychiatrist, but I'm close. I'm thrilled. I'm very excited and filled with anticipation. It's funny because typically I stay away from opening nights. I think this is an opening night that should not be missed. And not just because I'm directing it, it's because this is a brand new play. No one has seen this before, and so it puts a whole different thing on opening night. I'm pretty sure that closing night will be more polished than tonight will be. But this is not a play that aims to be polished. This is a play that just tells it like it is.
what comes to mind reading this script. Very personal thing. Totally apart from that is the fact that this is just, block your ears, a fucking good script. I was telling Norm Wheeler, many of you know from Leelanau County, he's one of the beach bars and a wonderful performer himself. What was it about this script that grabbed me? Because it wasn't just me. I heard these kinds of stories from almost everyone that I talked to in the cast or associated with the production of this. Somehow this brings up very personal reminiscences, and it doesn't have to be about war. This is a family here. I think Wayne Erreca has done justice to the American family with this play.
And so did you, Michael Nunn.
Yes,
you did.
It's to kind of share this thing that Wayne has brought forth here. I mean, I can't imagine what Wayne must think. I mean, you've been so incredible in being so courteously and considerately on the outside. But I found this part of it really easy. Wayne's script just brought ideas to my mind. And it wasn't just me. I mean, I surrounded myself with smart, capable people. That's the real secret to good directing. It's who you put around you. And so there was never anyone who did not have a suggestion or an idea. And I'm totally open to those. Not because I don't have my own, but because I want to see what works on this stage. And I think the people who came here saw something that worked. This show worked. I think we acquitted this play in Wayne's honor very admirably. I'm so proud of my cast and so proud of the people in the technical and support areas that allowed this to happen. It's magical. I can't explain it, but it's magical.